Making headlines, Prince Harry's return to the UK. The estranged royal went straight from the airport to visit Queen Elizabeth's grave on the third anniversary of her death. Then he attended the Well Child Awards. But all eyes are on if Harry will reunite with King Charles and finally make peace.
What if everything you've been told about Prince Harry's possible return to royal life is completely misunderstood? Not wrong, just dangerously incomplete. Because the real question isn't if Harry returns. It's how, and more importantly, why now? And once you see the pattern, you won't be able to unsee it. So if you're into breaking down stories beyond the headlines, go ahead, subscribe right now, turn on notifications, because what we're about to unpack, most people aren't even looking in the right direction.
Prince Harry seeking to heal the royal rift by returning to royal duties temporarily.
Let's start with what the media keeps repeating. Harry might return. Doors are still open. There could be reconciliation. Sounds simple, right? But here's the problem. This narrative assumes something very dangerous. That the royal family operates on emotion. It doesn't. It operates on structure, control, and long-term image preservation. So when people talk about Harry coming back, they're imagining a personal decision. But this isn't personal. This is institutional. And institutions don't forgive, they strategize. Now here's where things get interesting. There's one rule that has already been made very clear. No half in, half out. That means no hybrid role. No selective appearances. No mixing private profit with public duty. So, let's be honest. If Harry returns as a working royal, he would have to give up media deals, commercial independence, narrative control. And ask yourself this. Does anything in his current behavior suggest he's preparing for that? No. So, if a full return doesn't make sense, then what are we actually seeing? Here's the stronger, more grounded hypothesis. Harry isn't returning as a traditional royal. He's positioning himself as something else entirely. A royal-adjacent figure. Not inside the system, but not completely outside either. And this is where the pattern starts to show. Look at the moves carefully. You still see controlled appearances tied to legacy causes. You still see moments where royal proximity is maintained, not severed. But at the same time, you see independence, brand building, separate positioning. This isn't confusion. This is dual strategy. On one side, maintaining relevance to the monarchy. On the other, building a life that doesn't depend on it. And if you're paying attention, that's not a man trying to go back. That's a man making sure he never needs to. Now pause for a second. If you're starting to see the bigger picture here, this is exactly the kind of breakdown we do on this channel. Not surface level takes, real analysis. This is where it gets uncomfortable. The royal family needs stability. Harry represents unpredictability. That alone creates a structural conflict. But there's another layer. Public perception. Because whether people admit it or not, Harry still carries influence. And influence is leverage. So now the monarchy faces a dilemma. Do you completely shut him out? Or do you allow controlled proximity? And this is where the royal-adjacent model becomes powerful. Because it solves both problems. He's not fully inside, so risk is controlled. But he's not fully outside, so influence is contained. That's not reconciliation. That's containment strategy. So, let's push this forward. If this trajectory continues, here's what you should expect. Not a dramatic return. Not a formal reinstatement. But something far more subtle. Selective appearances. Carefully chosen collaborations. Moments where alignment is visible, but limited. And over time, the narrative shifts from, will he come back? To, he was never fully gone. And that shift is everything. Now let's challenge this. Because if this theory is wrong, it should break under pressure. So what would disprove it? Simple. A full commitment back to royal structure. Cutting commercial ties. Re-entering under strict institutional control. But right now, there's zero strong evidence pointing in that direction. Which means this isn't speculation. It's a probability trend. Now, let's go deeper. Forget headlines for a second. Think psychology. Why would someone in Harry's position choose this middle path? Because it gives him something powerful. Freedom without complete disconnection. He keeps his independence, his voice, his control, while still retaining relevance, legacy association, strategic positioning. That's not accidental. That's calculated. So here's the uncomfortable truth most people won't say. Harry doesn't need to return. And the royal family doesn't need him to. But both sides benefit from not fully closing the door. And that's why this situation stays unresolved. Not because they can't decide, but because this gray zone is actually the most useful position for everyone involved. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Harry will ever fully return? Or is this in-between role exactly where he wants to stay? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everything and I respond. If you made it this far, you already know this wasn't just another headline breakdown. So go ahead, like the video if you got value from this, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Because we're not just following stories here. We're breaking them down to the point where they can't hide. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.